Hi, friends, it's me, Miss Wendy, and guess what? We are celebrating a birthday here. Does anybody know who it could be? That's right, it's Miss Wendy's birthday. And if it's your birthday too, well, we're celebrating you as well. And in fact, let's just celebrate everybody's birthday here on Pajama Storytime. So, to start out, I thought I would share my happy birthday books that are my favorites. But you know what we like to do? We like to make sure that we have our stuffies or stuffed animals or friends that would like to listen to the stories with us ready and on our laps. So, let's count down from 10 and make sure that we have those ready and available. Now, if you don't have your stuffy yet, that's okay. I'm going to count down. Join me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. You got your favorite teddy on your lap? Or maybe it's a dog, or maybe it's a cat, maybe it's a dragon. Who knows? Whatever it might be, I'm glad you have a special friend to join us tonight. And let's get started with our Open Shut Them song because you know what? That's who's favorite. Open, shut them, give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, put them in your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, creep them, creep them, creep them right up to your chin. Open up your little mouth, but do not let them in. Open, shut them, to your shoulders fly. Then like little birdies, let them flutter to the sky. Falling, 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 almost to the ground. Then quickly pick them up again and turn them round and round. Faster, 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 slower, 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 slower. Clap and put them in your lap. Deep breath and let's get started. I'd like to start with happy birthday, little Pooky. Hello? Is that you, little Pooky? It's not even light. You ought to be sleeping. Look outside. It's still night. But it's my birthday. It's your birthday indeed. And when the sun rises, we'll have a whole day of birthday surprises. See all the Z's? Zzz. Kind of makes us thinking about all that snoring. Surprise! It's the birthday, Pook. You're back, little Pookie? It's 5:32. Well, okay, it's your day. Happy birthday to you. Daddy is making us pancake supreme with blueberries, lemon, and strawberry cream. Oh, it's a piggy. And look at that. The pancakes are shaped in a little pig. Isn't that so adorable? Now we greet the new day. Hello, day. And then we get dressed. To go buy a balloon? Oh, hooray! Now it's time for rest. Uh-oh, maybe getting up so early in the morning on your birthday is not such a great idea. It might poop you out, huh? Are there more surprises? For this, we need the special announcement hats. Attention, all pooks! Are you here and awake? The time has arrived for your present and cake. I like their party hats, or as they call them, the announcement hats. It's a fuzzy froggy! So here's to a child who is joyful and clever. Happy day, happy year, happy always and ever. Happy birthday. Aww, isn't that great? I thought that would be a lot of fun to share. So I have another very special book. This one's Dr. Seuss's You Are You, a birthday greeting. Happy birthday. Today is your day. Wake up and shout. It is good to be me. Da, 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 da. That was my own little sound effect. What did you think? Pretty good? Celebrate, eat cake, lots of cake. Happy birthday to you. Make music. Yeah, I like to kind of pretend to make some music, right? La 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 la, da 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 da. But you know what? Maybe I need some pots and pans. Am I giving so many great ideas? Ask your grown-ups first. Give yourself a present. Look at all those presents. Throw a parade. Now that looks like a lot of fun. Do what makes you happy. That looks like fun. Just relaxing, reading a good book. Because you are you. And you are unlike anyone else. You march to your own beat. And you see things in your own way. Look at the glasses. Aren't they cool? So fun. And that's why you are so special to me. Happy birthday! I love it. And that is Dr. Seuss's You Are You, a birthday greeting. And that happens to be a new book here at the Manlius Library, so you can check it out. All right. You know I couldn't have a special birthday pajama storytime reading without a Froggy, right? One of my favorites. So Froggy's birthday wish. It was the night before Froggy's birthday, and Froggy was excited. Look, the moon, cried Froggy, and it looks like an orange piñata, and Froggy made a birthday wish. Do you see that moon? It's bright and orange, and he's making believe it's a piñata. How many of you have had a piñata at a birthday party or something? Yeah, that's lots of fun, isn't it? Froggy, called his mom in the morning. What? Time for breakfast, dear. Froggy bounced on his bed and sang, Happy birthday to me! Happy birthday to me! Happy birthday, dear Froggy! Happy birthday to me! It's pretty exciting, isn't it? Then he got dressed. Zip, zap, zup, zoot, zoot, zat. And flopped into the kitchen. Flop, flop, flop. Are we having something special? Asked Froggy. No, dear. Why do you ask? Oh, I don't know why, said Froggy. Are you doing anything special today, Dad? Not really. Why do you ask? Then Froggy turned to Polly. Well, what do you have to say, Polly? Boop, boop, bop on you, hee hee hee. Froggy ate his bowl of cereal and flies and wondered, what if my family forgot my birthday? Froggy, cried his mom. What? Shoo, 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 get out and play. How do you think Froggy's feeling right now? Nobody said anything to him. Might be feeling a little disappointed. Wonder what's happening. So Froggy flopped over to Max's, flop, 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 and banged on the door. Max! Max! He shouted, but nobody was home. Oh no, cried Froggy. What if Max forgot my birthday? Then he went over to Matthew's, but nobody was home. Oh no, cried Froggy. What if Matthew forgot my birthday? Then he went over to Travis's, but nobody was home. Oh no, cried Froggy. What if Travis forgot my birthday? So he dragged himself home, wondering, what if everyone forgot my birthday? So much for my birthday wish. When he got home, Froggy opened the door. Surprise! Froggy almost jumped out of his skin. Zing! Arf, arf, arf! Even the dog is excited. Everybody was there. Max, Matthew, Travis, even Froggalina. Froggalina said, I bet you were worried that everyone forgot your birthday. Not me, said Froggy. Froggy still had hopes for his birthday wish, but first, he and his parents he and his friends played pin the tail on the donkey. Froggy almost pinned the tail on Max's mother's back. Oops! Arf! Laughed the doggy. But now it was time for birthday cake, and here came Mom with all the candles burning, and everyone sang, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Froggy, happy birthday to you." This was the moment Froggy had been waiting for. He made his wish, and he took a big breath, and he blew out all his candles, and they gobbled the cake down, and Mom announced, "Time to open presents." First, Froggy ripped open a present from Max, with a little help from Doggy. "A skateboard," he shouted, and hopped on. Zoom, crash, and he knocked over the punch bowl. Oh no. Then he ripped open a present from Matthew. "A scooter," he shouted, and hopped right on. Zing! Crash! He knocked over the fishbowl. And then he ripped open a present from Travis. "A pogo stick," he shouted, and hopped on. Boing, 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 and he hit his head on the ceiling. Bonk, and he fell down. But he still hadn't gotten his wish. Oh boy. Finally, Froggelina said, "I have a surprise for you, Froggy. Close your eyes." And what do you think she got him? A big, fat piñata, like an orange moon. "Yippee!" cried Froggy, and he sang, "I got my wish, I got my wish, I got my wish." "Froggy!" called his dad. "What?" "Come on out and hit your piñata." So Froggy flopped outside, flop, 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 and Dad had hung the piñata over the tree and tied a bandana over his eyes. And Froggy swung the bat and missed. Whoosh! Then swung again. Whoosh! And on his third swing, whack! What happened? The piñata flew up, 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 and then dropped down, 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 and burst open on Froggy's head. Splat! "Oops!" cried Froggy, looking more red in his face than green. "Candy!" yelled Froggelina. "Candy for everyone!" And everyone dived in, even Doggy. "Well, I got my wish," cried Froggy, and it was filled with chocolate-covered flies. Yum! Munch, crunch, munch. "Num, num, num," said Pollywog, and stuffing her face with candy. "Happy birthday, Froggy!" And everyone laughed. "Arf, arf!" Even Doggy. It kind of reminds me of my doggy Olive. And that, of course, was Froggy and his birthday wish. Awesome. That was fun. I love doing the Froggy. It's one of my favorites. How about you guys? This is so fun having a special Pajama Storytime birthday celebration. Well, I'm going to have to make sure I squeeze in some Curious George and the birthday surprise. Okay. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always curious, and today is a special day. The man with the yellow hat told George at breakfast, "I have a surprise planned and lots to do to get ready. Can you help me by staying out of trouble?" George was happy to help. Later, while George was looking out the window and being very good, he heard some tinkling music. It was coming from the ice cream truck. George watched as a whole line of children and their dogs enjoyed ice cream treats, and it looked like fun. But when the ice cream truck moved on, George forgot all about staying out of trouble and went out for fun of his own. What do you think? Probably not a great idea. Uh-oh. In the living room, George found noisemakers. Could this be part of his friend's surprise? Before George could find out, he spotted some streamers, balloons, and colored tissue, and he could not resist. Decorating was easy for a little monkey. Still, George was curious about the surprise, and what was that good smell coming from the kitchen? George fouled his nose. What do you think he smelled? I think you're right. It's probably special cake. What do you think? Oh boy, here we go. It was cake! And it looked as good as it smelled, and all it needed was frosting. So George had seen his friend make frosting before. So what do you think he did? Naturally. But today his friend was busy, so maybe George could help. He could frost the cake himself. First, George put a bit of this in the mixing bowl, and then he added a bit of that, and then he turned the mixer on, and the frosting whirled around and around. It was whirling too fast, but when George tried to stop the mixer, it only went faster and faster and faster. George lifted the beaters out of the bowl, and frosting flew everywhere. You know what? I hate to admit this, but when I was baking cookies over the holidays, I had a little blender like this. Maybe not that much, but when I was using a mixer, it did that. It was pretty crazy. Poor George. He did not mean to make such a mess. He'd only wanted to help. Now he could clean up. How could he clean up the kitchen? Just then, George heard the tinkly music again, and the ice cream truck was coming back up the street. George had an idea. Quickly, he opened the door and invited all the dogs in for a treat. And in no time, the kitchen was clean. Can you imagine? He just opened the door and let all these creatures into the kitchen and, just let them lick it all up. I mean, I guess that's one way of solving getting that frosting all cleaned up in the kitchen, but I don't know. When the dogs finished their snack, George took them back outside. The ice cream truck was still there, and so was his friend. George, said the man with the yellow hat, I've been looking for you. It's time for the surprise. George had found hats, games, decorations, and a cake. He was curious. Was the surprise a party? Yes, it was a party. George was happy to see all his friends, and they were glad to see George too. What great decorations, Bill said. What a lot of presents, said Betty. Why don't you play some games with the guests, George? And the man with the yellow hat had suggested, and I have one more thing to do. When George's friend came back, he was carrying a cake covered with candles. This wasn't just any party. It was a birthday party, but George was still curious. Whose birthday was it? He watched to see who would blow out the candles. The man with the yellow hat put the cake down in front of George. That was a surprise. It was George's birthday. The party was for him, and everyone sang, Happy Birthday. Then George took a deep breath, and he made a wish. Happy birthday, George. That was so super fantastic. Boy, that Curious George does get himself into some trouble. Doesn't he, Pooh? You can't relate to that with anything, can you? I seem to remember some adventures with you, Pooh, where you got into some trouble with a bowl full of honey. Well, Miss Wendy couldn't have a birthday party without having something to do with space, so of course, if you had your birthday party on the moon, was just the book that we needed to read for this special occasion. How amazing would it be to have your birthday party on the moon? Oh yes, everyone would want to come. Not just because it's the moon, but who wouldn't want to ride to a party in a rocket? You'd get to fly 40 times faster than a plane, and for most of this trip, you'd also get to float. Once your ship is coasting through space, everyone at your party will be weightless, but just unbuckle your seatbelt and you'd start to float, surrounded by party hats, presents, and your piñata. And you'd find that the tiniest push would send you sailing through the sea of friends. And you'd do somersaults in the air and have handstand contests on the walls, and some of you would even float upside down. Strangely, it would feel the same as floating right side up. When you're weightless, there's no up or down. In fact, your birthday cake floats upside down and it'll be just as safe as if it was the right side up. Doesn't that seem like a really fun thing? You'd be inside of a spaceship flying up to the moon for a birthday party? I'm game. How about you? As your rocket gets close to the moon, you'll want to buckle yourself in for the landing. You'll no longer float, but once on the moon, you'd be much lighter than you are on Earth. And then there's a little box here that gives you some information. Gravity holds people and things down on the ground and pulls them back down after they go up. How strong a world's gravity depends on is partially on its weight. The moon is lighter than the Earth, which is one reason why it has weaker gravity. Earlier in the trip, the moon looked like a disk, but now it'll fill your whole window. You'll see the hills as high as the highest mountains on Earth, valleys and flat lands, and boulders and rocks, and everything will be different shades of gray and tan and brown. And you'll see the moon's bowl-shaped craters everywhere. Here's another little fact box here. Nobody knows for sure how the moon was created, but we do know it happened when Earth was very young. Most scientists think it's about 4.5 billion years ago. Earth collided with the world size of Mars, and the crash threw huge chunks of Earth's crust into the space, and many pieces came together, forming the moon. In picking the very best spot for your birthday party, it's helpful to know that the same side of the moon always faces the Earth. The near side of the moon is the only side we can see from the Earth, no matter what kind of telescope we use. In fact, until a spacecraft photographed the moon's far side in 1959, we weren't completely sure what was back there. For all we knew, the place was crawling with extraterrestrials celebrating their own birthdays. The far side of the moon is often mistaken for the dark side. People think of it as the dark side simply because they can't see it. However, the moon's far side, just like the near side, is lit by the sun for nearly half of every month. The near side of the moon is where all the action is. For one thing, the moon's near side gets Earthshine, which is the sunlight that's reflected from the Earth onto the moon. This reflected light shines at all times, even at night, so your party will never stop because it's dark out. What's more, on this side of the moon, you'll always have a beautiful blue Earth in your sky. Just as Earth reflects sunlight onto the moon reflects sunlight onto the Earth. This makes the moon look very bright from home. However, our planet is much bigger than the moon, and it also reflects sunlight much better. That's why Earth shines is 40 times brighter than moonlight. When you land at your perfect party site, everyone will be eager to get out onto the moon, but since it's your birthday, you get to be first. You'll climb down the ladder, followed by your friends, and everybody's safe in the moon's low gravity. I like that. Got the happy birthday banner going. You and your guests will look around in awe, hardly believing you're actually on the moon, and then you'll look up to see Earth in your sky, many times larger than the full moon. Before doing anything else, you'll take seats on the moon's boulders and watch our planet turn. Slowly but surely, the continents will scroll by, and it'll be mind-blowing to think that everyone is on that globe. However, you'll notice something very, very strange. Here's a cool birthday thought. There are about 7 billion people on Earth, but only 365 possible birthdays. If you divide 7 billion by 365, you get about 19 million. That means while you're having your birthday on the moon, approximately 19 million other people are probably having the same birthday on Earth. Of course, this doesn't count February 29th, which is a leap year. All around you, the moon's surface will be bright, but when you look up at the sky, it'll be black. To understand why the moon's sky is black, let's explore the Earth's sky is blue. Light from the sun looks white to us, but it's only really made up of the colors of the rainbow. On Earth, air causes the sun's blue light to scatter, and this makes our daytime look more blue. However, the moon has no air, and in fact, it has no atmosphere at all. That means there's nothing to scatter any color light at any time. So the moon's sky always is deep black. An atmosphere is the layer of gases surrounding the world. The Earth's atmosphere is air, and it's a mixture of nitrogen and oxygen. Any atmosphere will escape into space if there's not enough gravity to hold it down. And the moon has little gravity, so it can't hold too much in the atmosphere. And now for the very best part of the moon party, bouncing and gliding along the moon's surface. In gravity, that's only 1/6 of the Earth's. The first people who walked on the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, said moonwalking felt like moving in slow motion. People who watched it on TV said it looked like slow motion. So the space program that landed the first humans on the moon was called Apollo, and the Apollo program started in 1961 and brought Armstrong and Aldrin to the moon by 1969. By the time these space flights ended in 1972, 12 Apollo astronauts had walked on the moon, but none of them had walked on the moon on their birthdays. That's a pretty interesting fact. Wouldn't that be kind of fun to glide along on the moon? Now, it's your turn. If you weigh 100 pounds on Earth and you only weighed 17 pounds on the moon, you'd find yourself leaping 6 times higher and farther than you can on Earth. No need to have a bounce house for your birthday party. One-handed push-ups would be easy peasy. In fact, if you pushed up too hard, you might push yourself up to your feet. Throw a ball or hit a ball on the moon and it'll fly 6 times farther than it would on Earth. It'll also stay in the air 6 times longer. Hit a home run and at your party and running the bases, and you'd have time for group photos before the ball lands. In 1971, astronaut Alan Shepard became the first person to play golf on the moon in an area on the moon called Fra Mauro Formation. Shepard hit 2 balls with a club and snuck it onto the Apollo 14. Shepard wasn't very good golfer on Earth, but he was a great golfer on the moon. You're probably about bursting to check out the moon's craters. A crater is a bowl-shaped scar that marks the spot where an asteroid crashed. Some craters are smaller than pinheads and others are the size of kiddie pools, and a few are big enough to be seen from far away from Earth. And so we have our information box that talks about asteroids. And asteroids are chunks of rock and metal flying through outer space. Most of them are leftovers from when planets were first formed. Majority of the solar system asteroids crash landed on moons and planets billions of years ago, so most moon craters are incredibly old. However, millions of asteroids still roam the solar system. Keep your fingers crossed that none of them will crash your party. The most remarkable thing about the moon craters, though, is that many look the same as they did when they were first created billions of years ago. Because the moon has no atmosphere, it also has no weather, no wind, or rain to erase craters or other dings. This means the moon's surface handles changes over the years, and when it does change, it becomes something from another world like you. The footprints left by the America's Apollo astronauts are nearly a half century old, but they're in perfect condition that if you visited the Apollo landing site, you would see exactly where the astronauts landed. That's cool. You might be wondering how you'll have time to do everything you want on the moon. So you'll be happy to know that your moon birthday will last nearly 30 days. How does the moon deliver this mega birthday? Well, like the Earth, the moon rotates and spins like a wheel. Each full rotation equals a single day. The Earth takes 24 hours to rotate, so one day on Earth is 24 hours. But the moon takes 709 hours to rotate, and that's 709 hours of a birthday. When you're ready for a different kind of a playground, you can visit the moon's Maria. Maria are parts of the moon that look dark from Earth, and scientists used to think that these dark areas were oceans, so they named them Maria, which means seas. Almost 1/3 of the moon's near side is a Maria, but hardly any of the far side is, and nobody's really sure why. The moon's flat Maria would be a perfect place to play freeze dance. If you could hear music on the moon, which it can't, sounds only travel through a medium, a substance like air or water that fills up the space between objects. The moon's surface doesn't have anything like this, so there's no way for music or other sounds to reach you. A game of freeze tag would be a better choice, but because how gravity makes suddenly stopping tricky, it's hard to know if you could freeze anything and what it would be like on the moon. And for now, something you can't do anywhere but the moon, find the weird stuff that the Apollo astronauts left behind, because some things were left on the moon for a reason. Others were left simply because it was easier. Here are a few goodies for your scavenger hunt, your birthday scavenger hunt. 6 American flags faded to white since the moon's ultra-thin atmosphere can't block the sun's rays. These flags were held open by wire because the moon has no wind to make them rain or make them wave. A 4-leaf clover, 12 pairs of space boots, a falcon feather, astronaut Shepard's 2 golf balls, a very rude drawing of, I'm not really sure what this is, and a moon buggy, a recorded message from the Queen of England and other world leaders, movie magazines. One thing you'll love about roaming the moon is its nice and squishy cushion of dust under your feet. This soft cover of moon dust is 2 inches thick. Might tempt you to lie on your back and make moon angels. Go right ahead. Remember, the moon doesn't refresh its surface, so if you ever return for another birthday on the moon, your moon angels will still be there. All of your guests will surely want to pick up a nice moon rock to bring home. A light colored rock would probably be formed from a hill or a crater. Dark colored rock might be part of the moon's marina. Whichever rock you pick, you must make sure it's small. A rock you can lift on the moon is going to weigh 6 times more on Earth. It's getting close to that wonderful time when you blow out your candles and make a wish. There's one small problem though. Candles won't light without air. There's air inside your rocket, but you won't be able to waste it on candles. Anyway, what you could wish for that beats a birthday party on the moon, what could it be? Candles or no candles, it's back to your rocket for pizza and cake, and inside there's enough air for everyone to take off their space helmets and for you to be able to hear them saying happy birthday. In 2001, Pizza Hut delivered pizza to the International Space Station, so maybe they'll deliver to the moon. And if you get to the space station and you get what the space station astronauts got, you'll have a large cheese pizza with spices and salami. And since you're on the moon, why not eat birthday cake like an astronaut? Chocolate pudding cake squeezed from a foil pouch is a space station favorite. And after all, you don't need a place for candles. If there's one thing you probably never expected to do was hit a piñata on the moon. To swing a piñata stick with low gravity, you'll need to plant your feet firmly on the ground. In fact, the winner is likely to be the person who can stay on their feet and swing. When the piñata breaks, the prizes will drop slowly and everyone will have time to see where their favorite treats are going to land. There's no better way to wrap up your moon party than a glorious rocket ride home. You and your friends will have 3 days in space to open your presents, chase floating piñata prizes, and rip into goodie bags stuffed with moon pies. And you'll probably also look back at the moon and try to find the exact spot of your party. As Earth gets larger and larger in your window, you'll wish the moon party didn't have to end. But hopefully, very, very soon, you'll all be invited to someone's birthday party on the moon. You're invited to a birthday party on Titan. It's the Saturn's largest moon. There's the next adventure for us, friends. I love it. And this book is a great one, and it's new at the Manlius Library, and of course, it's now my favorite. I'm so excited to have been able to share it with you on everybody's birthday on Pajama Story Time. And I love you so, so much, and thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad you came. And happy birthday to everyone. Happy birthday to you, and me. Take care. We'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.